Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about types of seeds, okay? So we are going to go over what are the differences between GMO seeds, hybrid seeds, F1 seeds, heirloom seeds, open pollinated, organic. We're going to go over all of those different things, and I'm going to try to give you a really simple explanation of them, and maybe these once we go over each one of these, then you'll be able to better make choices for what will work best in your garden when you're choosing your seeds, whether it be at the store or online, or maybe you're choosing plant starts. So let's just go over what each one of these things means so you can be better informed when you start your garden this year. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the one thing that everybody is worried about, and they're worried about accidentally buying this type of seed, and that is going to be GMO seed. So this is where there can be a lot of confusion around this, and so let's just go ahead and get that one out of the way, and let's go ahead and talk about GMO seeds and what it means for the home gardener. So the first thing that you need to know is if you come across, let's see if any of these say it. Right here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but right here it says non-GMO seed. So does that mean that maybe this package that does not say GMO, does that mean that this one is GMO and this one is not? No. GMO seeds are genetically modified organism, GMO, or genetically engineered. Sometimes you'll see it called that. But those are seeds that have been genetically modified. And this is done in a lab, and they are not GMO seeds are not available as of right now to the home gardener. So GMO seeds, there's only a handful of different types of GMO seeds that are even available at all, and those they have like very strict rules around them, and like they're only for agriculture, like big time agriculture farmers such as that. And in order for you to purchase your GMO seed from a big ag seed company, usually there are contracts involved, and this is so it's a lot of paperwork and everything just to buy GMO seed from a GMO seed company, and that usually happens between big ag. These seeds are not available to the home gardener. So regardless if your seed package says non-GMO or not, right now you don't have to worry about any of the seeds that you're purchasing at the store being a GMO, because they're just not going to be. There are no seeds that are for the home gardener that are going to be GMO. They are all non-GMO. So if you see it on a package, that's them just letting you know, because they do know that uninformed home gardeners worry about it being GMO or not, and so they go ahead and they put it on there that says non-GMO. It's just advertising, it's just marketing. But even if it does not say non-GMO, it's still non-GMO. So no worries there for right now. You know, things could change at any point in time, but for right now, you don't have to worry about buying and purchasing GMO seed unless you are big ag, big time farmer, in which case you would be doing a lot of paperwork just to get your hands on those GMO seeds. So the next seed type that I want to talk about is the one that oftentimes gets confused with a GMO, and so that is hybrid seed. And sometimes it will say on the package hybrid. Most of the time, if you're buying a plant start, it will definitely say hybrid on it. Most of the time, it will let you know, but it doesn't always. So hybrid seeds and hybrid plant starts are not the same as GMOs in a nutshell, because I've already told you we can't buy as of right now, February 2023. There have not been seeds that I am personally aware of that have hit the stores that are available for you to buy that are GMO. So what is hybrid? If hybrid isn't GMO, then what is it? So a hybrid is just a variety of plant or seed that has come from them cross-pollinating or crossing two different varieties of plants, and they've come up with a hybrid variety. So the pros to buying hybrid seed or purchasing a hybrid plant start. So there are some pros to this. There's some pros and some cons. So we'll go over the pros first. So the pros of buying a hybrid seed or a hybrid plant are going to be that these are going to be plants that have been crossed to get specific characteristics, and these are characteristics that could potentially that you could benefit in your garden. Say you're looking for something that is a drought resistant tomato variety because you live in a place that does not get a lot of rain and you really want to grow tomato plants, and so you go in search of a hybrid tomato plant that's going to grow well in your area and is going to be pretty drought resistant. You'll be able to probably find a hybrid variety that's going to boast that is its, that's what it's marketed for, that's what it was crossed for, is that. In which case, if your options are you don't get to grow any tomatoes, or you could buy the hybrid cedar plant and you can grow some tomatoes, then, of course, that's going to be the better of the two options is to buy the hybrid seed. And a con of buying hybrid seeds or plants is going to be that you're not going to be able to seed save from them and get any reliable results if you plant that seed the next year. And that is because, like I said before, they're taking two different plants, they're crossing them, like they're taking a plant that has very desirable shelf life characteristics and maybe another one that's naturally very bug resistant to a certain type of pest and or a disease, and they're crossing those two to get a better variety, okay? So because they have crossed two plants, you have two parent plants. When you seed save from this hybrid cedar plant, the seed that you've saved, the genetics and everything inside of that seed has not had time to stabilize. It is a F1 seed or F1 plant. And if you seed save from it and then you plant it in your garden the next year, the results are going to vary wildly on what's going to actually grow from that seed the next year. And I've actually done this before. Many years ago, I seed saved a bunch of squash from some squash that I had grown that I just bought. I bought plants at a garden center, grew them, and then I seed saved the squash. At that time, I wasn't even aware that there was a difference. I just thought, hey, I'll save the seed and we'll get squash next year. So the next year rolls around, I have my squash seed that is saved. It ends up, it has come from a hybrid variety of a squash, which is pretty common. Anyway, so I plant like a 50-foot row of squash plants in my garden, and they grow and they grow and they look amazing. This 50-foot long area of my garden, all squash plants, and they grow and they're like huge, nice squash plants, but they never flower and they never produce any fruit. So, and that was because the genetics were not stable in that hybrid seed that I had saved from. And that next year when I planted all that seed, they just didn't produce any fruit at all. Anyway, no fruit came from that, and by the time I realized that there was no fruit going to come from these what otherwise looked like great normal looking squash plants, I had already wasted 50 foot of growing space in my garden. I was really late behind in the season to even plant more squash, and it was just a waste. It was a waste of my time and it was a waste of my garden space. So that's just one of my personal experiences from saving hybrid seed and trying to do something with it. Sometimes nothing, sometimes you won't get any flowers from, like it will never bloom. And sometimes you will replant that seed, and this would probably be the best case scenario, is that when you plant the seed, the genetics are reverted back to one of those parent plants. The problem with that can be that you are probably going to get a plant that looks nothing like the plant that you seed saved from the year before, and it's not going to taste anything like the plant that you seed saved from last year. This can really present a problem, like maybe you saved from a certain type of pie pumpkin that you really liked and you loved the way it tasted and it had just great flavor. You seed saved from it, but it was a hybrid, and then when you plant that seed the next year, all you get is a bunch of these weird shaped gourds, and they're inedible. And that would be because they've crossed two different plants there, and all you're stuck with is the ugly gourd that you can't eat. Or cucumbers, and you save the seed from a hybrid cucumber. When you plant it, you might end up with these like really horrible tasting cucumbers, or really small cucumbers or whatever. I'm just, throwing out examples there. And one more thing about hybrids, hybrids became super popular as our transportation systems and just improved across our country, across the world, and there became a need for plants to grow fruit that was going to be shelf stable and could hold up to being transported like very long distances. So, like now it's nothing for me to go to the store in Tennessee and buy strawberries from Florida and grapes from California, and my tomatoes maybe were grown, in California too, and they're here on my shelf in Tennessee Walmart, and they look amazing still. So there became a need for that, and as the growing need became for this produce to have a longer shelf life and to not bruise as easily, they began to cross different plant varieties and come up with these very shelf-stable plants. And very shelf-stable produce. So like they are breeding tomato plants for so that they don't bruise and so that they stay ripe, but not too ripe, for a very long time, so that by the time they get to the market, to your store, they are going to sit on the store shelf for a couple of weeks before they go bad and have to be thrown away. And what is not usually taken into consideration with hybrid plants is taste. Okay, so usually when they are crossing different types of varieties, like tomatoes, for instance, their taste is not the issue here. It is all about it being its shelf life and its ability to be transported without it looking horrible. And also to get very uniform looking fruit. Now we go to the store, and when we want to see all of the fruit that we are picking look extremely perfect and exactly the same. And so these are, we've come up with a way to do that by growing these hybrid plants and that is how that happens. So taste is definitely not going to be a number one priority with your hybrid plants. But back to the point of, if you have a very specific need that you really are trying to address in your garden, like a pest control issue or a shorter growing season or drought or a specific, blight or something of that nature, whatever your specific region deals with, there are going to be hybrid varieties out there that are probably going to work the best for you in your garden for one season. And the other kind of hybrids is that you cannot seed save from them. So once you start buying hybrid seeds and plants, you are just really committed to rebuying seed and plants every single year, because you can't seed save from them, and that's not very sustainable. Okay, so we've talked about those hybrid plants, and a lot of times you may see where it says F1 or F2. That is just another way of saying that this is a hybrid plant in the F1, F2, F3, F4, and so forth. It's just going to show you where this plant is in its stage of having been bred. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to talk about is my personal favorite, which is heirloom seeds. Okay, and with heirloom seeds, I have a lot of heirloom seeds. It's basically anything that you see in my boxes or whatever. The majority of those are going to be heirloom seeds, and that is because I love to seed save. And so heirloom seeds, the basics on them is, unlike a hybrid, heirloom seeds have been open pollinated. They are open pollinated varieties that have been open pollinated and bred for at least 50 years, some over 100, many for several hundred years. And because of that, their genetics are very stable. Okay, so the number one pro versus con, the number one pro to heirloom seeds is that you are going to be able to seed save from an heirloom plant, and the next year when you plant that saved seed, you're going to get a plant that is going to look very much like what you grew the year before. So this is heirloom for the home gardener. That is what we home gardeners tend to lean towards, are those heirloom varieties, because we love to be able to seed save, and we love the sustainability that it gives us. And also the other major pros of heirloom varieties is they have been bred, they've been selected and handpicked from our ancestors for hundreds of years based on their productivity and based on their flavor and just their overall the overall benefit to the home gardener. Okay, so heirloom seeds. Heirloom seeds are open pollinated, and because they have been open pollinated and grown and seed saved from over and over and over again, their genetics are extremely stable. Unlike that hybrid, who it's like there's two parent plants and the genetics they are not stable yet. And the heirloom, because they are have been seed saved from for so long, their genetics are extremely stable. This is great for seed saving. So if you are wanting to be more sustainable and you're really wanting to get into seed saving, heirloom open pollinated seeds and plants are the way that you're going to need to go. And so whenever I take like this strawberry popcorn heirloom seed and I plant it and I grow my strawberry popcorn, which is really fun to grow, I can seed save from that, pop those kernels off, seed save those, and then the next garden season when I replant those, I'm going to get strawberry popcorn again. And so that is one of the many great things about heirloom seeds. So some of the other great benefits to growing heirloom seeds are going to be that they have been specifically chosen by home gardeners and by people that were on homesteads and old-fashioned farmers for many generations and passed down through the years. And when people were choosing which seed they wanted to seed save to grow in their own home garden or on their own farm year after year, the things that were going to be at the top of their list were going to be flavor. They're going to be choosing flavor over shelf life usually. And we're going to be choosing the plants that grew in their region the best. So you're going to have heirloom plants that are going to just really work great in your specific region. Say like the Arkansas Traveler tomato plant. It's going to be a great tomato plant to grow if you live in Arkansas, because it has been well adapted to the specific growing conditions in Arkansas. Here, I live really close to the Smoky Mountains. We have Cherokee Purple is one of my favorites to grow, and it does great. And the seed that was originally submitted for heirloom status came from somewhere, I don't know, not very far from here, probably 45 or 50 miles away from my home. And it has been well adapted to our growing region. And so that is a plant that I can always count on to give me lots of great tasting tomatoes, and it's very hardy. They're every year in my garden, those purple Cherokee purples are going to be the first ones that grow, and they are the last ones that I'm usually picking in my garden, just because they grow great in my area, because that's what the genes in this seed from them, they're very well adapted. It's well adapted to my region. So these are heirloom seeds are seeds that have been specifically chosen for their productivity. And every time that you seed save from your own heirloom seed out of your own garden, you're going to see the productivity of that seed increase year after year, because every year that seed is going to be adapting to your environment and just growing better and better every year. It's going to become more resistant to maybe the pest in your area if you choose to seed save from plants that have the least pest damage. And you are going to be able to control also, when you're seed saving from your heirloom seeds, you're going to get to control what genetics of those heirloom seeds that you're going to want to continue on in your garden. So for me personally, when I'm seed saving, like my Cherokee Purple tomatoes, they already grow great here, but I'm going to choose the nicest shaped tomato to seed save from. I'm going to choose the tomato plant that grew and produced the fastest. I'm going to choose to save seed from the plant that had the least pest issues. And all those genetics that were in those plants, those are going to get passed into my garden the next year. And I'm going to do that every year. And by year 4 or 5, I'm going to have a genetically superior plant compared to the one that I even started with. So there's already all of these great benefits with heirlooms, and then because you're able to seed save from them, you're going to be able to improve on those genetics in your own home garden, and they're going to be specifically tailored to your garden's environment, which is great. So heirloom varieties, I've already talked about taste. I've talked about being able to seed save from them. And another great thing about heirloom varieties is there are just so many varieties to choose from. So I could sit and look at heirloom seed catalogs for, I could spend a whole winter looking at these different types of plants and the fruit and vegetables that you can grow from heirloom seeds. There's going to be so many more color options with heirlooms. There's going to be so many different flavor profiles to choose from. There's going to be, especially colors. Colors are another great thing about heirlooms. So many fun characteristics to choose from with your heirloom varieties. So the cons, it's kind of hard for me to even think of any reason not to grow an heirloom variety, but I would say one of the cons is if you're looking for a picture perfect uniform fruit every single time, you're probably not going to get that with heirlooms, especially like tomatoes. You're going to get heirloom tomatoes are sometimes known to be kind of wonky looking and misshapen, and but the flavor profile is going to more make up for that. But if that is something you're concerned with, then that might be a reason why you would not want to grow an heirloom plant. And so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is if it says organic or not, and I don't think that any of my seeds actually say on them, no. Organic, but sometimes on a seed package you will see certified organic, and that is a big deal. If you can afford to spend that extra money and buy something that does say certified organic, you are going to be getting a seed that was grown in conditions that went through a very long process, a very long checklist of things that had to be done in order for the seed to be certified, which is really a certification. This is like a ongoing paper certification that a farm gets. There's a very long checklist that they have to go through in order to become certified organic, and that just means they're going to use all natural growing methods, okay? And because of that, that can be a little more costly, so your seeds are likely going to be a bit more costly as well, but that can be worth it in the long run, depending on how you feel about that. If that's something that's a really big deal or a personal conviction of yours, then by all means, look for those seeds that say certified organic. If they do not say certified organic, just know they were seeds that were saved from a conventionally grown plant. Pesticides may have been used, all different types of soils may have been used, all different synthetic or fertilizers were probably used in the growing of the plant that then produced the seed that you have in your package. So organic, having that certified organic on your seed or your plant is obviously, it's going to be, it's a plus. That's a major bonus. You're probably going to pay a little bit more for it, but if you can find those, or if you're willing to go in search of those, that's something that's important to you, by all means do that. And you can get certified organic hybrid and certified organic heirloom seeds. So that's the basics on different types of seeds. They won't always tell you if it is an heirloom or if it is a hybrid. It will not always tell you that it's non-GMO, but just remember, it's always going to be non-GMO unless something crazy happens in the near future and they start selling those GMO seeds. Probably not going to happen. If it says certified organic, that's obviously a plus, and if it doesn't, then it's probably not. So I hope that has helped you whenever you're going in search of what type of seeds to buy. It is definitely time to be making those seed orders, going out and buying some seeds. I've noticed everywhere here, we're in Zone 7, we're in East Tennessee, seeds are everywhere. So now's the time to go purchase your seeds, and because it's seed starting time, as you can see behind me, we're going to be talking about lots of different things to do with seed starting. If you are looking for a great heirloom seed company to buy your seeds from, I talk about them pretty often, but you can see behind me over there, or you can see on here, my my phone is horrible about picking this up, so let me see if I can. Just doesn't do good with print, but this is seedcatalog.com, www.seedcatalog.com. They are a family-ran company who sells heirloom seeds. This is what the majority of my personal garden, all my seeds come from them. I have great germination rates. And I have a very productive garden, and I've been able to save so many seeds from the original seed that I have gotten from them. And I cannot say enough great things about them. I have never had any bad luck with any of the seed that was purchased by them. So if you're looking for a reliable seed, good quality seed, go check out www.seedcatalog.com, and everything that they sell is heirloom and non-GMO. So you can check those out. And if you're looking for like a really cheap option, our Walmart does have, and I've said this on another video, our Walmart had a whole cap of these 20-cent seeds. So if you're really on a tight budget, you could check that out. Several of the varieties that they had were heirloom seeds, like they have Blue Lake bush beans. Those are an heirloom variety. They had Denver carrots. That's an heirloom variety. They had let's see here. They had some lettuces that were heirloom variety, and they had golden crookneck squash seeds. That's heirloom. So a lot of even these 20-cent seeds that were at Walmart, if you can still find them, they were on an end cap. There's not a whole lot of seeds in them, but for 20 cents, there's enough to start a small garden. Go check those out, see if you can find some of those. So that was a great deal. Anyway, that is the basics of GMOs and non-GMOs, hybrids and F1s, and heirlooms and open pollinated and organic and all of those things. Hope that's helped you. Go order some seeds, go buy those seeds, store some extra ones away. You can never have too many seeds. And I'll see you next time, and we're going to be talking a lot about seed starting tips. See you later. Bye.